All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Anohana, episode 10. This is the penultimate episode, Jacob.
Yep. That's
All
right. We're coming up on the end of this show.
I wanted this.
Yeah, you asked for this. Yeah, Yep.
Yeah.
But, you know, this show has been great. I love it. I'm glad you've been enjoying it so much.
God, it's so good, dude.
It's so good. The
It's so
character
good.
writing is just awesome, and the music is amazing. And
I love what they did in the last episode with Yukiatsu. Yukiatsu is amazing.
Yep. These kids.
Yeah.
These kids.
Jinta, though, buddy. Oh, like,
Yep.
I can feel just the heart-rending emotion just chainsaw like going through him right now.
Can't even bear to see her in the water, even though she's a ghost, even though it was just stepping into the water.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just the potential loss just ties so much back to the pain he's experienced in the past and that he's currently experiencing. But we still have a couple characters that have yet to fully be unveiled.
Yep.
Popo had a moment where he was nearly going to go into some
kind of territory,
more vulnerable stuff with him.
Right.
And given that he's probably the simplest of characters, given his response was probably one of the ones that's the easiest to translate without him telling us overtly why he
Right,
went
but it
and
was
traveled a bunch.
hardcore go to happy distracting things, different stuff basically to
Alone.
avert focus. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, and alone. Right.
But also, Tsuruko, we need to know how you doing, because you totally know what's going on.
And that's not even taking into it, like, that's just the regular, group of friends and stuff. That's not even going into, like, Menma's family or anything like that.
Yep. Oh,
Yeah.
jeez. But, y'all, episode 10, without further ado, let's get into it. I'm pretty sure they were using and they still are, but using a xylophone in this OP. It's kind of cool.
I am a big fan of xylophones in anime tracks.
Yeah.
That definitely doesn't have any kind of past association for me or anything.
Yeah. I was going to say, I'm pretty sure I remember 2 anime specifically. And was one of them a movie that used a xylophone?
I don't know about a movie, probably, but Lost My Pieces from Toradora.
Yeah, that's the one that
very prominently uses a xylophone, and it's very effective.
Yeah. I just almost wonder in some case if certain tracks in anime get so much of a bit of notoriety that there's other anime that basically take elements of the the instrumental aspect of it into their OP when they're like, I want to communicate a similar feeling to that, but I'm not gonna make the same music, of course. It's just
right. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
I know that OPs and EDs often are pre-existing songs, but for
cool.
like the insert music and stuff, like the background music, I could definitely see that happening.
Okay. Wow. Look at this guy. How much he's changed. All right. He's going to everyone, or just he's going to everyone. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Wearing her glasses.
Yeah. Yeah. It hurts being near you. Please let me leave.
Yep.
Oh!
That same line delivered twice, but each time it's very different.
You were? Oh, we're getting okay. Oh,
Yep.
that was them. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, way to go.
母ちゃんさ、俺の身長何センチか知ってる？
Whoa. Yeah, the way she knelt down.
Yep, but
as
it's
if
like,
it would be at her.
no, he's way taller now.
Oh, jeez. Oh. Oh God, she, oh.
一緒に寂しいと思う。お前とサトシと俺と。
Because I am too. Yeah.
Oh.
弱虫
Wow.
いざとなったら怖いんだ。
違う。
情けない話よね。惨めなのは自分だけじゃないって思いたいんでしょ。私もね、
Yeah.
思い出したのよ。メンマに電話で呼び出された時。どうし
Yeah,
た
did
の
you forget about that?
雪圧、鶴子なんて
Okay, all right. Here we go. Here we go. Let's meet up.
お疲れ。
Oh. That animation was
お菓子とか買っ
wonderful.
てきた。
All right, what does she need to do? Oh,
あ、いや、
speech.
メンマさんと
Yes,
我々
yes.
は超平和バスターズを結成し、
前置きはいいから。
Oh.
そんでよ。
Oh. I know, buddy. I know.
メンマさんの挨拶でした。
He's like, oh, I'll come up with something.
あの
Oh
日、
God. Oh God.
あの日、ここであったこと再現してみるとか。
ジンタンってさ、
やめろ。
メンマの
Whoa.
こと好きなんでしょ。
Oh.
いいえ、いいえ。
Oh my God, Popo. Popo, stop.
好きだ。俺はメンマが。
Oh.
ただポロポロと泣いていた。
Okay.
どうもない。どうせみっともないもん。
No.
あれ、雪圧の入れ知恵でしょ。
はっきりしないで迷ったままずっといないはずのメンマに負け続け
Oh.
て、それでいいのかよお前。
Yeah. Yukiatsu. What a guy. Oh, of course she gets it. Yeah. Of course she gets it. Yeah.
私は雪圧が好きだから。その姿を私はずっと。鶴子。永遠なんてわからないわよ。私を選ぶことは絶対にない。メンマが成仏してもその代わりは安城さん、あなただから。ジーターが好きだもん。
Oh.
成仏させなきゃ。
Yeah. So good.
ポッポ、なんとなく巻き戻るような気がしたんだ。
Yeah, because he's still terrified of that day, that moment. Oh.
え、本当だよ。
Oh.
ジーター好き。
Oh.
わかってるよ。
Yeah.
にしたいの好きでしょ。
成仏しなくたってこのままここにいればいいじゃないか。
No. And then this piano comes in. Just
Yep.
yep. Ugh.
メンマ、
Oh, buddy.
ジンタンに好きって言われて成仏しような。
These characters. And how's the day? What's today?
ダメなのかよ。
猫の赤ちゃんだったり、お花の赤ちゃんだったりするかも。
The flower we saw that day.
Bingo.
Yeah. You ready?
おばさん、もうちょっと待って。み
Oh.
んなが花火してくれるから、もうちょっと。
Oh. Okay. All right. Is this going to be where it's done? This is going to be it?
And
Yep.
that's why it took so much money.
Oh. Oh. Oh.
Giving herself a fresh start.
Yeah.
だよね。
Uh-huh. Yeah.
こうか。せーの。
The kid, the brother. Yeah. Oh, okay.
来てくれた。あれ、どうかした？
いや、なんか嗅いだことあるようなに。
ありがとうジンタ。これでいいんだよね。
All right.
だってメンマと私たちの利害は一致してる。
God.
と喜ぶな、メンマ。
Yes. Yeah. Yukihatsu. What a guy. Yeah.
絶対に止めさせない。
Yeah. Good job. No.
だけど。
成仏しますよ。
Exactly.
すっげえ楽しかった。
Come on, buddy. It's gonna be okay. Oh, his music. Yeah, good. Okay. Oh. Okay. Oh. Oh. Wait. Yeah, because that's not her wish. So, okay.
And he couldn't let go.
Yeah, and okay. Oh, okay. All right, we gotta talk now. Oh, that episode was so good. Wow. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. All right. That was
There's the second to last episode.
that was a painful one.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just a bit.
Yeah. I think that the big thing we can talk about real quickly about this episode is that it boils down to Jinta not being able to let Menma go.
And it was kind of all of their journeys in that. Like, even if the rocket wasn't her wish,
Yeah.
that was what they were using it for. It was for them, you know.
Right. It was primarily for them. That was part of the reason why the Mako family was not necessarily, as, well, at least the mom was very much not like about the whole thing because she could tell that it was primarily for them. And that's something that is true, but still that's the important thing is that the living need to let go and move on.
Yep.
While it is important to cherish the memories and the time, the love and the connection and everything, and that's really important to a healthy, way of going through this, you need to be willing to live in the present and move on from the past. And I thought that there were a lot of little things this episode of thematically bringing that up. We had characters who were all addressing kind of in their final little bit, in their final little way, the past and basically saying, I'm going to bring that forward here so that I can address it. And the one person that basically didn't at the end
Was Jinta.
Yep. Everyone else, maybe not Popo. Popo had a little bit of a moment where he went almost like full horror movie and like started like traumatized repeating the words say it.
Yep.
So
And I'm just because I'm curious, did you piece together why?
Piece together why.
Yeah.
Why he was saying no. I did
Okay.
not, no.
So in the bit before that, there was a point where he was like cutting out like a piece of like construction paper or whatever.
Yeah.
And he starts talking about how he wasn't like that popular when he was a kid. He was kind of the outcast of the group.
Right.
And he's saying that, but he was really grateful for them for bringing them into the group, even though all he could do was watch. All he ever did was watch. In the end, he just watched.
Whoa.
Yeah.
And because he knew the reason why they were called there, just like everyone else did.
And when they ran away, he of course ran after them because he always is chasing Jinta.
Oh, buddy. Oh,
Same
God.
as Menma. So
he knows the wish essentially.
I'm not entirely sure if he knows the wish.
He might have forgotten it at this time.
But
But that's basically like him saying, you need to say this.
Well, right, because the last time you didn't, I watched her die.
Yeah. Right. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and-
We're not going to go through this again.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So-
Because
so
he literally
say-
then says, if you run away, the same thing's going to happen.
Yep.
Wow.
That's like Popo.
So he ran away and went traveling because he didn't want to watch anymore.
He wanted to think of literally anything else.
Yep.
Like
Oh,
Popo's
okay.
one of those characters that, because of the type of character that he is, he doesn't get as much focus. He's not as sort of integrally connected to the other characters, and that makes sense, right?
Right.
He doesn't
have as much of a relationship with them.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't have, he isn't a part of the whole, I like somebody that doesn't like me, and then someone else likes me, but I don't like them, kind of a thing. Like he's not a part of that. But the way, and you picked up on it, of the whole thing of, oh yeah, he's holding to the positive energy because something isn't
Right.
there's something else that he wants to cover up with it.
Yeah. And it's that he's not happy with the way things go when he just sits around and watches.
Right.
He doesn't in some ways even really like the dynamic that the group creates at times. So he's forcing a dynamic with his positive energy.
Sure.
In some ways you could say that Popo's development is somewhat realized because when he came back, he's the one that kind of forced the group to come back together, even though he doesn't necessarily like some of the ways the dynamic of the group creates like certain like atmospheres and tension and things like that.
In a lot of ways, he was always looking up to Jinta, who was the leader, and Jinta, shuts down, and he kind of ends up stepping up and being the leader.
Yep.
Even though it's in his way of, okay, I realize I'm not really the leader. No one really listens to me all that much. But
yeah, there's the respect of that. They respect his energy and passion, but they don't necessarily see him in some hyper-valued way as Anaru would Jinta, or even in some ways as Yukiatsu would Jinta.
Yeah.
Because
right. Yeah, even if it's
a negative sense with Yukiatsu.
That's a lot of care that's there, yeah.
Yeah. And that's its own thing. So cool. Awesome. That's a really cool insight that I might have missed potentially. That
was one of the hardest things over the course of this series, watching it with you, is all those times where the show does a really good job of making it subtle that that's Popo's situation. Yeah. But as far as awful things to experience, right? These kids all got dealt a really shit hand.
Yeah.
Right? That their friend had to die like that.
Yeah, seriously.
But to have to watch it.
Yeah.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah.
Or maybe there was.
But we don't know that he actually saw her die, literally. Do we?
I don't think so. I think it's it's pretty much just left at that, but
Yeah. Like you're not insinuating, because you keep saying it that way, and I want to be clear here. He didn't see her die, right?
That is my understanding.
Which is what?
That he saw her die.
How do you get to that?
From everything that's sort of been put together, and the way that he was like, "Hey, Menma, about that day." Nope, let's talk about something else. Okay.
So he followed Menma?
Well, yeah, because she was following. So Jinta runs away.
Right.
Menma's following Jintan, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of people are, chasing after her. Anaru maybe not. But Yukiatsu chases after her, tells her he likes her.
Right.
She goes after Jinta. He throws the thing away.
Popo follows Menma because Menma's following Jinta. And then Menma falls down the cliff, rolls down that specific area that we saw.
Yeah, slips on the thing and
then breaks her neck or something.
Or drowns. They don't really go
Gotcha.
into explicit detail of
how she died.
Of how she died, but because, you know, they're not going to show that. But
Yeah, I almost still feel like that wouldn't lead to him seeing her die, though. Because, he rolls down the cliff, too?
well, it's a hill. Got a vantage point.
Okay, well, damn. I don't see how that really gets brought up fully, but I'm willing to believe it for sure.
But
I mean, there's a bunch of stuff that I would say ties to it with regards to why he's the most, I would say, still emotionally struck by the whole instance there.
Because he is that kind of like
he has
gentle soul kind of a thing.
Well, right, but I would say he also has the most violently opposite response to a lot of the things, meaning that when some kind of negative experience happens, the response in turn, if it really like affects you even in a really dramatic way, can be extreme to match it, to bring about some level of equilibrium. So if his thing is that he's still experiencing the trauma of not only like she died, but I watched her die, yeah, I could see him being the one that puts on a lot of, conjured positivity. I like to call it conjured positivity rather than false positivity, because it's the idea.
Because it's still something that he's choosing, and he's yeah.
Well, also but like creating positivity out of nothing still can bring about a positive energy and stuff. Because
that's why you do it.
Your body gets tricked essentially by the psychology of it.
Right.
So you still feel good, even if it's not.
Even if it's not dealing with the root issue.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's that. Okay, so gotcha. That's a really cool bit of insight there. And I'm guessing you're not drawing upon any future knowledge with regards to Popo.
I don't believe so, because if anything...
Because it doesn't make sense to bring up that with Popo in the final episode.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Let's talk about the next thing.
Yeah, the conversation between the dad and the mom.
Yeah, like this bit here is too real. I have seen these conversations. Like, I've seen these conversations play out in multiple instances. The toughest part about being in a relationship with someone who is suffering and is not wanting other people to suffer, so they try and control the environment to basically get that, like, everyone is gonna, not feel anything regarding this. We're going to be in stasis here.
We're all fine.
And then someone comes along and goes, "No, I'm sorry. I have to do this." And they start to poke a little hole in the balloon of, cloistered.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
Right. It's like one person leaves the house, to go to the event or something, but that sort of like lets in a draft, basically.
Exactly.
And then all of a sudden, you feel the shiver and you're like, uh-oh.
Yep.
Uh-oh.
Yep, I'm not ready for this. But the fact that he knelt down with her, quietly whispered to her, basically being like, hey, we should do this together.
Yeah.
We
should be sad together.
Yeah.
He's been sad. I am
sad.
too.
Yeah. That's just powerful. And I love that she wasn't still able to show up, physically to the spot and have them see her.
Not fully there, but like.
But you know what's really special then? I'll bet maybe it doesn't have to be the case, but they might have driven their kid up there and been like, "You go."
Sure.
You go. Like, I'm gonna stay here with mom, and it could have been a thing of where, like, it didn't have to be that way. He could have ran up or gone on his bike, but we didn't see his bike.
Right. Or maybe
you assume he walked the whole way here. I don't think so.
I mean, I'm sure he would have if he had to.
I believe it, but
I
want to assume some wholesomeness in this family, basically, of where they're already starting to potentially reconcile a little bit of their family sundering in this way.
And what I love about this is that, especially since we haven't seen much from Menma's family, the stuff that we've seen has been very powerful, very hard-hitting, very good, right?
Yep.
I love it. But it has been a very short amount of time.
True.
So how do we show it so that we can get this cathartic payoff, right, with their growth, without it feeling forced or too quick?
Yeah.
The fact that here, it's not about them fully resolving their issues, but more acknowledging the issues.
Yeah.
that's how I think it works so well, right? Because
I agree.
Because that is the most important step, and it's the first step, right? You have to acknowledge that there is a problem, that there's hurt there, that there's something that hasn't been dealt with, and that it needs to be addressed, right? And then once you do that, it loses a lot of its power, and you can face it and you can beat it, right?
Or you can start the process.
Right, you can start that process.
Yeah.
Because it is a process.
Yep.
You know, so having it happen in that way, where all we need to see is just a shot of the mom in the car watching the rocket go up and being like, okay, my baby girl's gone. Yep. Yep.
Oh, that's strong. I love, though, in the next scene we get with them being at McDonald's, you know, and Tsuruko calling Yukiyatsu and calling him out in a lot of ways as well. Just like, is this how pathetic you've become? Is this how, like, scared you are? You're not gonna address this with Menma. And then at the end of the episode, he does have his awkward moment with the closet and, pulling out the wig and having the little effigy, essentially, of her.
Right.
And
Goodbye.
saying goodbye.
Yep.
So he did listen to her here. He took what she said in, because he acknowledged, again, himself, that what she said was true.
Yep, that's why he got up. And
That's why he got up, and then he's like, okay, I have a favor to ask. Only you can do this.
Right.
And that abrupt about face, basically reminding us that what's going on here between these two is in response to the stimuli of what's going on in their environment with the friends around them. It is not something that's going to last necessarily.
I mean, who knows? It could, Oh,
okay.
I think there's a decent chance that it doesn't, but that these people are still, even if they're doing it badly, they're making they're going through the motions of moving on.
Yeah, I'm not saying that what they're doing is wrong. I'm just saying
I know
that I don't think it's going to last.
Gotcha.
Because then they have the conversation on the bridge. You're not the replacement. I'm not the replacement there. Yeah, we'll get into that.
Right. We can't ever replace those people and what they meant to us, and or be replacements for them.
I like how Tsuruko kind of almost stops a little bit of Popo's, like, well-intentioned, but maybe a little bit faked, conjured, if you will.
Sure.
Whole thing of setting the mood.
Yeah, introducing them and everything.
Like, you don't need to do that. And he's like, yes, okay, cool. And then Menma gives the little notes and stuff, and it's so sweet. I love the character animation for how it pains them to see this, and it does like very specific kind of things for them there. But it's just good. And then
why don't we
Yukiyatsu,
reenact that day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love confident Yukiyatsu.
Oh,
the fact that he's not only willing to do this, he is standing there with strength of conviction. Like, he's doing this and he's like, all right, it's my time.
Right. Like the
This
idea.
is happening.
Like, and even with the about face when he was hanging out with Anaru, where it's once Tsuruko sort of makes that jab and points it out to him.
Lets the draft in.
Right, lets the draft in. He quickly stands up, because deep down he knew that this is what he had to do all along, right?
Yeah.
He had to let her go. He hadn't been letting her go. This had been as a response to the pain that he wasn't fully facing.
Right.
Okay, he's going to do it, right?
Yeah.
So then it's all right, he comes in here. Yep. Why don't we reenact that day, right?
Yeah.
And the way he says it with a tone that with less perspective, I would attribute it to being a bit malicious, right? Where it's like I know this is gonna hurt you, sort of like almost sarcastic kind of a thing.
Well, he knows it's going to hurt him. Yeah.
No, right. But
Just that's not the reason why he's doing it.
that's not the reason why he's doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
And if anything, it's something where he's acknowledging this is going to hurt me as well, right? But this is something that needs to happen. So why don't we reenact that day?
Yeah. I gotta say, I think it's ballsy of the show to do this, because I think this is a near misstep pacing wise, to have the moment of, if you run away, then everything will go the same. And then we cut from there with Menma crying to on the bridge with the girls long after they've recreated the scene, essentially. So they're not actually like going to have them as a group reacting to the fact that it went about. We then show them in these odd groupings or in individual like settings and stuff. So I like that we're talking about Tsuruko and Anaru are focusing on these two here because these two need to finally become friends and be willing to share about this with each other because they're so similar in so many ways, in not just their situations but in how they, via their own kind of skill sets, and I would say
temperaments and everything.
Yeah, temperaments as well, yeah. Basically put up shields and defense systems to survive, and yet they ended up, not being able to lean on each other over the course of this because of the fact that they weren't open to any connection really in that regard. And also there was a little bits of animosity between the two of them, like little bits of venom at times.
Oh yeah, quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
And I love how Anjo or Anaru then goes, "No, that's not right. Doesn't think of me as a replacement. I wouldn't go out with him no matter how tough things get."
And it's almost like she's trying to convince herself, I love Jintan, right? Yeah.
But then Tsuruko's like, that's why we have to send Menma to heaven.
Right, showing that basically we all are holding on a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Because with the whole idea of them being the ones that need the rocket to be sent off, right? Like, I feel like that's something that's easy to say, and it's an accurate statement, right?
Right.
But it can be easy for that to not quite communicate the situation. It's not that it's for them as a bad thing.
Right.
No. They need that to happen. It is it's not a trifling need, a passing fancy. It's a resolute and unyielding need, right? Like that's.
Yeah.
So, and that was kind of like a good cap, I feel like, for both Tsuruko and Anjo, of both acknowledging, both of us kind of haven't moved on. Okay, this needs to happen, and then
so let's do that.
Yeah, Anjo, is like, all right, so she prepares for it. Tsuruko cuts her hair,
Okay.
like, and I like the idea of her cutting her hair and going back to the way things were at the beginning because in one way to look at it is that she hasn't grown, she's still a little kid or whatever, she's holding on to the past or something like that, right? But the way I like to see it is that she hasn't been able to grow since then. That's why everything, even between her and Yukiatsu, has been so stagnant,
are all
right?
defense systems and shields and things put up. And now she's like...
And now she's resetting.
Yeah.
Right? It's I'm going to go back to when I was a kid because I still don't really know anything, right?
Yeah.
I still have a whole lot to figure out. But I'm going to start now. I'm going to start now. This is a new chapter for me, and the whole thing of I just felt like it. Wait, that was a lie.
Well, I also want to bring up the idea. She said it's a new pace specifically, and I don't want to harp too much on Tsuruko because there's a bunch of other things that we want to talk about here. But new pace, and I'm not going to go super crazy on this, but I just want to bring this up as a runner's perspective.
Okay.
One of the things that you can do when you're a runner is you realize, I no longer want to be running miles for 8 minutes. I want to run at 7 minutes. That's going to require a new pace.
Sure.
But one of the things that's important to understand is where your limits are. What are the things that you can handle and the things that you can't?
And for how long you can handle them.
Yes, of course. But a pace is something that you maintain.
Mm-hmm.
A pace is not something that you just willy-nilly just switch into. You switch into it, and if you try to maintain that and you're not doing well at it, you need to go back to the old one. Mm-hmm. So what she's saying is like, I beat the old pace, so I'm going to go into a new one here. While she's in an old outfit. No, Tsuruko. You're being humble by doing this, and you're going back to realize, I need to go back to the old pace because I didn't win that one. Right. I didn't succeed in that one. So that was just one of those lines where I was like, damn it, that hurts.
It's
that
good
hits
stuff.
me like personally. Okay. But I wanted to bring up the idea of you bringing up that, well, does it have to end? And I feel like you slipped a little bit of your future knowledge into that. Because if you look at this scene where Anaru and Tsuruko are talking to each other on the bridge, Tsuruko is kind of acknowledging that, no, we do kind of have to move on, like you're saying. So, in some respects, it's actually kind of saying, well, the future come as it may. There's no, like, easy next step into it. There's no replacement. There's no automatic way that it has to go. And then Tsuruko going backwards in her design is like saying, and I also need to acknowledge that I might need to take 2 steps. I might need to take 2 steps back. I'm not going to just kind of reset. I'm going to, like you were saying, realize I need to learn everything.
From the ground up.
Yep.
Like,
which means
who I am, how I'm going to live.
Right. Which is basically like saying, I'm fully letting go of Yukiatsu. And that means, personally, to me, that Yukiatsu would be entirely free, given the blessing even from Tsuruko, to go after Anaru. So I wanted to just bring that up.
And what you were saying about Tsuruko with the fully letting go, I feel like that is, it's so true. And it's a wonderful sort of parallel close loop onto the first bit of Tsuruko from this episode, which was the whole confrontation with Yukiatsu, and then Yukiatsu grabs her, and that line of, it hurts.
Yeah.
And he's like,
Yeah.
oh, and he thinks it's because, he grabbed her arm.
Yeah.
No, it hurts.
Right. Yeah.
I can't be around you right now, right? And then she runs off, right? It's the thing of I am in the process of letting go, doing it in my own rough and tumble way, and I need to do this, so don't grab on to me. Don't interfere.
I don't want you
get
near
in
me
the
while
way.
I'm doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
This is something that I need to do myself,
Exactly.
completely separate from you.
Right. Oh, man. So then we start bringing up more the idea of rebirth.
Yep.
And
maybe as a flower.
Menma having the little cute moment of like, oh, so would I have been your wife? Would that have been the way things have gone? And then the very, obvious moth to the light of,
Right.
yeah.
But
Sorry,
what if you
this-
didn't have to go?
This is, not something that's meant to be. Sorry. If she goes towards the light, she's going to be gone. You're not going to be able to be with her anymore. Yeah. And, okay.
Yep.
Yukiatsu being willing to say goodbye.
Yep.
And then we go to Jinta right here as he's looking up. He says, "Am I not enough, Menma?" Like, oh my God, this is just basically setting us up to be like, no, he's not letting go here. Like,
nope.
He has not let go. Like,
and
in some ways, at all. It's all a trick. In some ways, that's what's so wonderful about all these friends being around him, is that when he finally breaks down and is willing to let her go, they'll be there to hold him, to accept him, and to take care of his heart as well. And then he'll be able to not only say goodbye to Menma, but in some ways also to his mom as well.
Sure.
I feel like this is all one big package there. But okay.
Yep.
Yeah. This bit here, though, where she kind of holds her own hand and goes, "Miss, please wait." Mm-hmm. She's talking to, the mom of
of Jinta.
And it's just like, oh, okay. All right. Now, here's my thought here. Mm-hmm. Is this the wish? When did Jinta's mom die?
I don't remember, but it was...
Was it a little bit after Menma?
No, it was before Menma.
It was before Menma.
It was before Menma.
This is the wish then. She wants to basically have the friends be there for Jinta because of what he's already lost, and she cared so much about Jinta that this is the wish. Please wait a little more. I need to be here for your son. That's the reason why I'm here. In some ways that makes sense. In some ways why Menma doesn't remember, why she's here. It's something that she kind of started to figure out over the course of spending time with Jinta and then praying, communicating with the mom. So
Well, and we did get the confirmation that the wish is about Jinta, which makes a lot of sense
Yep.
since Jinta's the one that's been seeing her. She's been spending the most time with him. She liked him, all of that.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, and Jinta is the one that's having the most trouble letting go.
Right, because he's lost 2 people. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When the brother shows up.
But okay, so when we see the track suit and the pants and stuff, I'm like, oh sweet, so it is the brother and stuff, and he could have walked there, yeah, but it's the speed at which Menma drops the umbrella and rushes him.
Yep.
Like, this is as just someone who has a lot of siblings and stuff, like I don't want to know what this was like for you on your first time, Jacob, but it must have been like,
It was rough.
like a drill to the stomach, just twisting your insides up.
Yep.
Just, holy God.
There are, and for so many reasons, because the true pain is not, I feel like it's not pain that you go through yourself. Mm-hmm. It's pain that you see someone else go through, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's family or friends or something like that, but someone that you care deeply about, and you know that they're in pain, right? Because with your own pain, it's something that's so visceral you don't want to look at it, so you put it away in a corner and you block it out as best you can, right?
Oh.
But
Yeah.
But when it's for someone else, you don't want to do that, right? You don't want to block out their pain because you want to help them, right?
Yep.
So with Menma, she sees her brother there, and instantly she runs to him. Yeah, of course.
Of course,
right?
yeah.
That's the whole reason why when she found out that Jinta had gone to see her mom that one time, she freaked out.
Yep.
Because she doesn't want her mom to worry about her, and even though Menma didn't get to see that her mom came to see this happen, like actually like witnessed this and was able to get that resolution within herself, seeing how she responds just to the little brother, and then from there we get the surprise that mom watches this too.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. And the husband, the dad as well.
Yep.
But okay, so they set up the firework, the rocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's a hell of a rocket.
It's
like
a huge rocket.
Like it's like, okay, yeah, I see why adults wouldn't want them to do something like this. Like,
yeah. And we get to see a little bit of their internal thoughts regarding how they're, going to be when this happens.
Yep.
And I love Popo's little moment of crying out and being like,
and shouting out.
It was really fun.
Yep.
Just like, I really, enjoyed getting to have the time with you and all that. And it's just.
It was a great Popo way of doing things, but then also taking into account the sort of mechanics of this setting with Menma being a ghost. Her brother's here. That's a good point.
Don't say that.
Don't go turn to her and be like,
Yeah, you can't do that to him right now.
Goodbye, Menma. It was fun,
exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So
that's actually pretty important as to that the next episode not be in the presence of the brother because this should be their end for it, the families, because we don't want to put them through anymore. So they are in some ways via this. Respecting her wishes, even though she'd only communicated them to Yarami, that she doesn't want to, hurt her mom and stuff anymore. Had Yarami communicated that to the rest of the group?
I'm not sure if he specifically did, but I know it was something that was brought up that they talked about. Of like, okay, hold on. I think it was Yukiatsu maybe. Of the whole, we are talking to the family of our dead friend, who also probably has a whole lot of, emotional stuff regarding what happened. So,
Yeah. And Jinta couldn't let go at the last second. And even though this wasn't her wish, meaning that it also has a lot of nothing to do with whether or not Jinta was able to let her go, because she has a reason for being here.
Yep.
So there's the aspect of Jinta and his connection to Menma, but then there's Menma and her connection to the physical world,
Right.
in that she was here for a reason, and that now I am almost certain, based on just looking at this episode, that it has to do with his mom and the fact that since she died before Menma did, Menma was wanting to find a way to help Jinta and have everyone kind of be there for him potentially in that time. It's also really kind of sweet because you think about their age and stuff, and it's like,
Oh yeah.
if that was Menma's wish, no, she wouldn't try to do that by herself. She probably would be like,
Definitely
I have
not.
no idea what to do, but I just think, if we're all as a group, we can solve anything together. We can make anything work out, right? So now, in some ways, the only way that this would have worked, because I don't want to go down that route of them as kids wouldn't have been able to help him. I think he totally would have been able to.
In some ways, it might have been easier for them to have him deal with it as a kid, because then it wouldn't have had as much time to turn,
to fester,
Right,
basically.
yeah.
As a wound. But now there's all this added perspective, maturity, and time that has forged their bonds, even though it was a childhood bond for all of them in a lot of ways. I mean, Yukiatsu and Tsuruko have been pretty tight, in some ways.
Yukiatsu Tsuruko,
Yeah, exactly.
Might need to come up with a different ship name, or
But we'll see. But that was a fantastic end to a penultimate episode where it's like, oh yeah, there's another episode, y'all. You guys have not cried yet. You will have your very just body and soul torn to shreds in the next episode.
I love the way that this episode is set up, and for all intensive purposes, it could be the finale of the show, right?
Yeah, it really could.
Because it's got the rocket, it's got everyone sort of, facing the fact that there's a lot of things they need to resolve within themselves and just deal with from the past, and it's fantastic, right?
Good stuff.
And you get all the stuff with the family.
Yep.
But then, episode ends and Menma's still there, and whether it's because of it not being her wish, which we always kind of figured, which I like, because
Yukiatsu confirmed it.
Right. Yukiatsu confirmed
he knows
it.
That's
right.
not her wish.
Yeah, it's not her wish. Right. So it's not like it's sort of like a debate, like surprise. This isn't actually the finale.
Right,
so it still
right.
feels like right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
And all the character stuff worked into it really well. But then it's also Jinta didn't fully let go. So even if that was her wish, the story couldn't be over yet.
Right. Yeah.
So.
So now here we are.
Yeah.
Here we are. Our characters are together.
Yep.
A lot of them have said their goodbyes. It's time for Yukiatsu. Sorry. It's time for Yadami, Jinta, to say his goodbye, and Menma to do what she came here to do.
Yep.
And I could see actually some pretty intense conflict come before that's resolved, because there's a couple conversations that I think would naturally get brought up post this that are of the accusatory nature.
Really?
Yeah. And I don't think that they would actually be handled in an immature way. I think that in some ways they would be the kind of thing of, why are we not, why are we not, doing this the way we know this has to go? And then they all start to remember, and Jinta's like, what's going on? What's going on?
Sure.
And it's like, Yukiatsu, you knew. And he's like, yeah, but this was important to do either way. And I would like, personally, I would like Yukiatsu to lead it. Just at least in initiating it off and being like...
He definitely started with the...
Oh, yeah. But I kind of...
reenact what happened that day.
I really like confident Yukiatsu in this regard. And he's like, Jinta.
Oh, yeah. Confident Yukiatsu is awesome.
He's like, yeah, Jinta. He's like, do you want to know why Menma brought us together that day? And he's like, Menma? Can you tell him? And I personally would really like to have a moment where it's a thing of where, in some ways, the accusatory stuff is more along the lines of like Jinta starting to kind of shift into like turtle mode of like no like I'm not ready for this. I don't know what you guys are doing. How dare you? All this stuff, and starts, and then it's just Menma hugs him, and it's just like a moment where he's able to then come to terms with what happened with his mom and stuff, and that's basically my rough predictions for the finale. And then he'll be able to say goodbye to Menma because Menma will have basically done what she came here to do. And we'll find out probably in confirmation whether or not Menma knew all along, or she found out recently, or she needed specifically the friends to go through a specific ritual of things to stir up the memory in her.
Yeah, like if it was something where to stir up the memory in her. Gotcha. I thought you were saying that like it was something where like she wouldn't have wanted it to be something that Jinta could just ignore. Like if she were to bring something up of like, this is actually why I'm back, and then he's just like not listening, or
right,
you're not real.
You're just a thing in my head. Yeah. Yeah. I think that would be a huge part of it, but it would also be a thing of where if she brought it up, it could be something where he doesn't actually deal with it. Like he could acknowledge it, but it wouldn't have the emotional impact.
Someone telling you something versus you learning something.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it also being a form of an intervention of the grieving kind. And that's something that if this show wanted to go for maximum pain of the wholesome and the gut-wrenching kind.
I'm glad you said that, because because just pain, you can do that.
Such a simple,
right? But why stop there, right?
Let's get
the happiness is also where the pain.
Right hand
yeah, exactly.
here.
That old
1-2 combo.
Yeah. Yep. It's.
Oh my God. So, y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length timer reactions there, and all this comes with Discord access. So you can chat with us and the community there about this show, about anime in general, and you can also talk with Jacob. Twitch channel, something that we're doing. We're streaming. I'm so emotionally exhausted right now.
Yeah, and I get that. Our Twitch channel is in the description, but Monday through Friday we stream 3 p.m. Pacific time. Monday is podcast. Tuesday is One Piece manga readings. Wednesdays and Fridays, Caleb does gaming.
I'm playing Hades right now. Yeah.
Yep. And then Thursdays I do gaming, which right now is Persona 4 Golden.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see it there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.